of wealth management and you here on Classic FM 97.3. My name is Chico. Joining me in the studio is who will be our regular expert and analyst and moderator on the show, Mr. Raphael Emmanuel. Good evening, Raphael. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Chico. How you doing?
I'm not doing too badly. I am excited about this brand new segment on Classic FM. It's a great way to start the year. There's lots of people who are going to need the advice that a segment like this brings, especially starting a brand new year where, looking back, you can take a look at some of the pitfalls that you may have fallen into or mistakes that you made, particularly from a financial perspective, and then correct them this year. Hopefully, we'll have a focus on some of those, if not today, then in the coming shows. So I'm going to really sort of hand it over to yourself. I have a series of questions I'm going to ask today because I know that in the coming shows we will have guests, but hopefully we can delve into your wealth of knowledge and expertise when it comes to wealth management in the course of the coming weeks, where we will delve into that and take advantage of you being here to answer some of the questions that we have. But before we go into explaining what wealth management actually is, I'm going to hand over to you to speak to what this new segment is all about and what we can look forward to over the next quarter.
So this segment is going to be very, very interesting. What we've designed the program to be is a program that brings to you an independent wealth management experience. So what that means is that the program is going to be independent of products, independent of institution, independent of your location, independent of your state, your country, your continent. So what we're trying to do is bring to you opportunities from wherever we can find them to your doorsteps. So it's not going to be limited to product or institution or continent or wherever. I think the second thing that is important as well that the program has been designed to do is to also bring opportunities that would support you regardless of the stage that you're at on the financial life cycle. So this could be whether you're at the wealth accumulation stage, whether you're at the wealth consolidation stage, whether you're at the wealth distribution stage. We will be looking for opportunities that can support either your new investment plan or your current investment plan so that you can maximize those potentials, of those hard-earned finances and maximize those hard-earned finances that you've been trying to do. The third thing that the program has been designed to do is that it's not going to be political in any way. The program is not going to look at what government is doing right or wrong, but the program is going to try and look out for opportunities, wherever there are even challenges, within the country, outside the country. The program is focused on looking out for opportunities and try to get you to tap into those opportunities, to be able to identify them. Finally, the program has been designed for you. And when I say you, Lagosians, Nigerians, local and in the diaspora, for you to be able to engage with us so that we can go back and do research and bring you information that can support your current investment plan. And most importantly, we're going to have fun. It's not the type of program that is going to
That's right.
It's not the type of serious financial education program that, every time you tune into the radio, it's very serious. This one, we're going to play some music and we're going to have fun while we relax and, plan our wealth.
There you have it. That's the show that's lined up for you over the next quarter, and it all kicks off today. All right. Now, in the course of the show, if there's any questions you have concerning wealth management, please don't hesitate to send those in to us via WhatsApp on 0704 1001 973. That's our WhatsApp number. I'll give it to you again. 0704 1001 973. Now, that is for the show live on the radio while the show is going on. Beyond that, once we're done on air, we will be giving you details and you can take advantage of the expert in the studio and reach out to him directly with any questions that you might have beyond the next half hour on the radio where we're discussing wealth management. So let's go straight into it, Raphael. Wealth management, down to its bare bones, like a layperson, Chico. So it's about, I've got this 1,000 naira, I'm hungry, but I still need to buy a recharge card. And there's one of my workers who has to get some pure water, and I'm thinking that somebody might knock on. So I've got to now sit down and decide how do I distribute this, my 1,000 naira. Is would that be an accurate description?
Oh yeah, that's it.
Really?
So wealth management
Yes.
is the entire financial planning journey.
Yes.
To the point where you then become financially independent.
Okay.
And you're fully retired and you become financially independent. Is that entire journey.
Yes.
You plan for your children's school fees, you plan to buy a house, you plan for how to set up your business. As you grow up, as
Yes.
you move up the ladder, as you plan for every objective,
Yes.
that's the wealth management. And this
I
sort of
see.
integrates investment management, financial planning, risk management and insurance planning, estate and succession planning, tax optimization, debt management, cash flow management,
Yes.
and philanthropic planning as well. So it's the entire journey.
Yes.
That's what wealth management is.
Okay. That's describing it sort of with broad strokes, really. Because in there is people have, what are those major costs? You have rent to pay, you have school fees to pay, you have daily expenditures, the EKDC or IKD whatever bill is going to come. You've got your estate dues to pay. There's your insurance premiums on the cars. There's so many things competing for whatever income it is that you have. So getting down sort of on a more granular level, which is what I was trying to do. Is this simply about how you manage those things so as you're not snowed under? And then you said so that you're financially independent. What does financial independence look like? Because from where I'm sitting, I mean, I don't know. I people don't believe it, but I feel like my cycle is sort of a hand to mouth, hand to mouth, hand to mouth. That free capital that would then be perhaps invested or whatever never seems to quite be there, unless I get some sudden injection of cash, that I then use to do those things. But other than that, not really.
So I think the journey all starts with setting up goals.
I see.
So when you set those goals, then the next step is you look at your cash flow. Is your cash flow enough for you to be able to achieve those goals?
All right.
And then you bring in this thing that we learned in school called the budgeting tool.
All right.
So it helps you to better define the movement of your cash flow. Right?
Okay.
And then you're able to ascertain using the budgeting tool what cost can you reduce? Where do you spend money that you shouldn't be spending money? You're looking for surplus.
Yes.
Right, to be able to achieve those goals that
Yes.
you lined up.
Yes.
Now, once you're able to do that, and you see where the cash flow is, you see your net worth,
Yes.
right, which is the difference between your assets and your liabilities. You see that, and then you ask yourself the question: can this amount of money, if I put this aside every month, can it take me to where I want to be?
Yes.
If the answer is yes, then you continue with where you are. But if the answer is no, then you have to start thinking: how do I generate more cash flow? Right? If I'm an OAP, do I need to begin to MC at events
Yes.
to get more cash flow?
You do,
begin to start
because radio doesn't pay well. Go on.
Do I need to start active, so that I can generate more cash flow?
Like Chico.
So you then need to begin to think, of how you then need to increase that cash flow to be able to meet up with those goals that you've highlighted.
Yes.
Right? And those goals could be children going to very decent school, right? You want to buy a house, like I mentioned earlier. You want to change your car every 4 years. You want to. So all of those things that you sort of line up, you want to go on vacation every 6 months. All of those things that you lined up, you need to, once you've identified what those goals are, you've broken them down into short-term, medium-term, and long-term goals.
Yes.
You need to look at your cash flow. Once you decide on how you then want to navigate around your cash flow, then the next thing is you need to look at the investment opportunities that are there that could help you grow this money, make this money sweat for you and work for you, right? So that it can take you to that destination that you're looking at, those goals, and then you begin to make those investments, go on that journey. But financial literacy at the end of the day is when you get to that point where you can actually do, you're retired and you can do everything that you need to do. That's the point where you're financially independent.
I see.
Whatever you want to do, you're able to do it conveniently.
When you're no longer working.
When you're no longer working.
Interesting.
At that point that you're financially independent.
Yes.
Before we got to this point, some of our parents were using us as their retirement plan.
That's right.
But I guess that number is beginning to reduce now.
These kids aren't going to do that. These kids are not going to do that.
I'm sure that's going to work for us as well. So we need to take our lives in our hands.
Yes.
Take full control of it.
Thank you very much. In case you just tuned in, this is the inaugural edition of what's going to be a staple on this radio station at 5:30 on Mondays, and it's called Wealth Management and You, where our expert Raphael Emenion, who's an independent financial advisor, will be coming in and having guests on the show, and we'll be discussing wealth management, the entire spectrum, and breaking certain things down. Hopefully, Raphael, in a future show, I think one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to challenge. I'm going to get an imaginary person. Let's call him Richard, right? And we're going to have a look at Richard's income vis-a-vis Richard's outgoings. We will create Richard. We'll say his marital status, number of kids, where he lives, his rent. We'll take a look at all of that, and then use Richard as a model. And sort of advise Richard over time, and see where we can get Richard to. I think it's something that I'd like to do. And so each show will come back and visit Richard. I'll have a look at how he's doing. Yeah, that's just the brainstorm. It just came to me now. That would be really nice. Because sometimes, we hear these things, and it's like one of the questions that I have to ask on the show today. It's a good place to enter that. So I like to break it down like I'm 6 years old, because if I break it down like I'm 6 years old, then there will be no ambiguity at all, and I understand it fully. One of the questions I wanted to seize on today has to do with the new tax act that's taken effect a few days ago now, and it's in full swing. I heard the NRA, it's now the NRA, Nigerian Revenue Service, NRS, Nigerian Revenue Service, and he was advising against things like some protests that it seems some people want to start to protest about the new act and all that kind of thing. It's an act of parliament now, legislature, so it is the law. That's been passed. So it is a law. I don't know, changing it would take an act again of legislature. Perhaps what you might get is some sort of amendment, but they protesting it is in some ways an exercise in futility, but that's not what I want to ask you about. What I want to ask you about is the real nitty-gritty in it. And that's why I even come up with the idea of Richard. What really is it? We're told in broad strokes that this is a tax law that protects the poor man or the average income earner or the lower class, and it goes after more like the rich or the upper class for them to pay more taxes. Is this generally true? I mean, what does this act mean for the average man, really? Just break it down to me. Think of me, don't see Chico. See a 6-year-old sitting across the console from you, and explain it to me. Or should I do a 6-year-old's voice? Uncle Raphael, please. Okay, good. I'm listening.
Like I mentioned earlier, this show is not about looking at what government has done right or what government has done wrong.
Yes.
It's to look at what opportunities we can see around whatever has been done. And when I looked at the Nigerian Nigerian Tax Act 2025.
Yes.
First, about a line of 50 items. When you go to the website, fiscalreforms.ng, there are a line of about 50 items that are exempted from paying tax. Right?
50 items exempted.
Yeah.
All right.
From paying tax. So like salaries are exempted from the stamp duty. If you sell 2 cars, you're not going to pay tax on it. If you operate a small organization with a turnover of about 100 million, fixed assets of about 250 million. And for that sort of party, before now, the capital gains tax was 10%. The company income tax was 30% on all companies. I think it was 50 million. If it was 50 million turnover, thereabout, then you're exempted, right? But now, what this act has done is that it has merged the capital gains tax and the company income tax. That's just 30% flat for organization. But if you are now a small company, which is then defined as an organization that has a turnover of about 100 million, fixed assets of about 250 million, you're completely exempted from paying. Right?
Okay. I'm sorry to interrupt. Because when these technocrat terms are being thrown in, that's where we get lost. So you hear something like fixed assets and you throw that in and then you keep going. So what is a fixed asset, for instance? Is that the building that this
Yes. So if you have all of those things in your name, building,
cars,
equipment,
okay,
in the name of the organization,
yes,
a total of not more than 250 million.
Yes. Okay.
Paying tax. Now, the law also says that if you invest in stocks, right, and in a period of 12 months, you sell those stocks, your proceeds is not more than 150 million, right? And your gain is not more than 10 million, exempted from paying tax. Now, check this out again. If you then sell your stocks, and the proceeds is more than 150 million,
yes,
and the gain is more than 10 million, but you reinvest immediately in new sets or the same sets of Nigerian shares,
yes,
right? You're deferring your tax payment, so you're exempted in a way from paying tax.
A deferment means that it's still at that time.
Yeah. So that makes sense for people that are looking at long-term savings, right?
Okay.
In that capital market space.
Yes.
It also says that if you invest in federal government bonds,
yes,
you're exempted from paying tax. On the individual side, the same thing sort of applies, right? But the difference is that there's something called a progressive personal income tax rate. Side. So it has also said to on the individual side that if you earn 1.2 million naira gross income annually, and if you take out all the other deductions, your taxable income comes to 800,000 naira.
Yes.
You're exempted from paying tax. That's zero. The next band to that is above 800,000 to 3 million, paying 15%
annually.
Right, annually taxable income. The next band to that is above 3 million to 12 million, you'll be paying 18% tax.
Yes.
The next band to that is above 12 million to 25 million, paying 21% tax. And then the next band is above 25 million to about 50, where you pay 23%, and then 50 and above, you pay 25%. So from the scenario that has been painted earlier, whether you're buying stocks, whether you're selling stocks, whether you're investing in federal government bonds, or you're investing in corporate bonds where you then pay tax, your gains that you make, would have to, with your total income for the year, have to fall within those tax bands for you to be able to pay those rates.
Yes.
That have been. So what I see really are 4 things. I think that it sort of helps. There's a potential that savings will improve, right?
Yes.
If you align it with wealth management, timing is then important for you when you buy your assets, when you sell your assets. The strategy that you adopt is then very important as well, because you, like I mentioned earlier, you need to set your goals, and then you need to have a strategy around those goals. And then the fourth thing that I see is that you need to have a structure around your wealth management portfolio.
Yes.
So the first thing that you need to do is review your assets. It's not too late, even though the act has kicked off. Review your current portfolio today. Work with a professional, a wealth advisor.
And this is whether or not you consider yourself as taxable.
Yeah, whether or not, because it's going to happen.
No. What I mean by that is so if you are a business who's doing less than 100 million per annum fixed assets, whatever it is, obviously the new tax act says you don't pay any tax, but there's the angle where you still have to make sure you're registered.
Oh yeah.
Because you need to then demonstrate that you're not eligible to pay tax. I suppose. Am I correct?
Correct. Yes.
All right. There we go.
You need to. I mean, you're all aspiring to be big, so you're not going to stay at that level forever. So it's just a starting point for you. So you need to be cautious of the things that you need to begin to do.
Yes.
Because you're going to. The intention is for you to grow beyond that 100 million and 250 fixed asset at some point. So you need to begin to put all of those structures in place.
All right, let's move on. That's our mini explaining the new tax act, but we don't want to dwell on that. We're talking wealth management, and paying taxes is the law, and it is part of wealth management because it is one of the finances you will need to consider. So I thought it's important that we discuss that. Yes, go ahead.
And you need a tax ID to be able to ensure that you comply with this new tax act. So to get your tax ID, you go to the site taxid.jrb, which is the Joint Revenue Board.
Yes.
.gov.ng.
Okay.
Or taxid.Nigerian Revenue Service, NRS.gov.ng. When you go to those platforms, it comes up asking you for either your NIN or your CAC, depending on which of the tax ID you're looking for, whether for your organization or. So you input your NIN if it's as an individual, and then the next page asks you for your full name, so that can be checked against your NIN that you provided.
Yes.
And then the final page will then provide you with your tax ID.
Is this as an individual or as a corporate entity?
Both. You can get both on the site. For corporate entities, the CAC number that you have to use. While for the individual, that you need to have.
All right, give us those details again. The
taxid.jrb.gov.ng or taxid.nrs.gov.ng.
There you have it. I did say we're moving on, but let me just run through this quickly because I did a search. It says that taxation is justified on several grounds, including the need to fund public services, promote equity, and support community welfare. Underneath that, it says funding public goods and services, redistribution of wealth, meeting basic needs, economic stability and growth, and legitimacy and democratic governance. These are the justifications for taxation. That way, you can look out for it, I suppose. Let's look ahead. For many, this is the beginning of the year. I know that a lot of organizations have their fiscal planning year that doesn't necessarily tally with our Gregorian calendar. But it is the beginning of a new year. So for a lot of individuals, they're looking ahead and having a look at making their projections, doing some sort of budgeting and all of that. So I want you to look ahead with us, and give general advice, for us from a wealth management perspective for 2026.
Right. So when I say Happy New Year in wealth management means that you need to review your financial goals. You need to look at your financial goals, those goals that you set for yourself last year, that you're currently working on or that you haven't achieved.
And this isn't about New Year resolution, is it?
Exactly. It's just that time that you need to do those reviews. It's important, that you need to do those reviews. So those goals that you've already set aside for yourself, are they still relevant? You now look at 2026 and then what you want to do, your current circumstances, are those goals still relevant? Why haven't you achieved them? If they're still relevant, then maybe you want to then assess your cash flow. You want to then look at your debt management as well, and see how you're managing the debt that you're exposed to, and how you then begin to look at your budgets as well. How do you want to make more money in terms of increasing your cash flow, or how do you want to cut costs? So those things are very critical. You need to pay attention to them. You also need to look at your wealth management portfolio. How do you rebalance your portfolio to maximize, at the same time maximize contribution? So that's very critical. Then you need to review your estate planning documents. If you're at that stage yet, you need to review your insurance coverage documents. If you're at that stage yet, you need to look at how you want to boost or improve on your emergency fund. If your circumstances have significantly improved and changed. Most importantly, like we discussed earlier, you need to plan your taxes, your tax exposure, with your wealth management portfolio. You need to align it with it. So it's that time that, because what we have now as the NTA 2025 is a transparent and a well-structured tax act. Right?
Yes.
So it then calls for you to have a more responsible financial planning structure, a more responsible wealth management structure if you haven't been doing that. So this is very critical, and these are my words, as we begin 2020.
Okay. You know what? I could follow Raphael and be really, really sort of serious now, but I'm not, because I can't help myself. So I'm going to say that one of the things you can look at, for instance, would be if you're the sort who sits down carefully and has a look at how much you spent on a side chick last year. I don't think that you can put that in you're not going to get a tax break for that. So you might want to just slash that immediately by 50%. Note that I didn't say don't do it because it might be something that just helps you survive, but it's an area you can look at cutting. Abi? Yeah.
Or you double your hustle.
Okay, this has been the inaugural edition of Wealth Management, and you do expect that it comes your way every Monday at 5:30 here on Classic FM 97.3. Our expert in the studio, Raphael Emenyonu, will be here with me and other guests in the coming shows, and we will be breaking down wealth management. So make it a date and join us. The final word is totally yours, Raphael.
Yeah, so as we mentioned at the beginning of the program, we're going to make this very interactive. It's your program, it's your show, Lagos, Nigeria. So we need you to come back at us with questions, areas that you need us to speak more to, areas that you need more enlightenment. So you can reach us, or you can reach me directly on my X page at Emenyonu Raphael, Instagram Raphael.Emenyonu, and LinkedIn and Facebook at Raphael Emenyonu.
I think we should spell it
RAPHAELEMENYONU.
There we go. I'll be giving out those details at the beginning and the end of each show. So do keep a pen handy every Monday 5:30, where we will be going through it. I think for a first, your wealth management and you, I think you actually nailed it, Raphael. I look forward to you joining me next Monday for another edition of the show. Stick around. This is Classic FM 97.3. We're the only station that plays every song you know. So act like you know.
Continuous music.